very exciting last 10 minutes of this race coming our way as Ben Eggleston is just dropping off the back now. We now start to look for where Clark Quinn is. He is some 15 seconds down on our race leader, 12 seconds behind Ben Eggleston at the moment. Is he going to be able to make that gap in 10 minutes? It's a pretty big ask for the McLaren driver, but at the moment, have a look at this. This is for the race lead. Down the inside, Richard Muscat. Tony Quinn tries to crowd the corner, but Muscat arrived very, very early there. Tony Quinn just looked at it and said, no, I'm not going to bend it up here. There you go, Richard. It's Tony Alford now, the Donut King. Lotus Exige has got Mercedes one side, he's got Aston Martin the other. Tony Quinn is not saying no, and neither is John Bowe.
Who's behind them.
Traffic is just working in Bowie's position there. 3 times Gold Star winner.
Nose to tail, freight train down the front straight. Tony Quinn pulls out and goes around the outside of Richard Muscat down to turn 1. No, couldn't get it. Now he's going to look at the inside and the crossover. Again, Richard Muscat protects the inside line all the time. John Bowe gets closer and closer and closer. He takes a look. Oh, this is going to be very close. I'm sorry. We need to explain what we've just seen.
Tony Quinn is saying, boy, I've had this race. I've been doing well. They're looking down the inside, left, right and centre. And John Bowe is putting this Ferrari out over the back of the ripple strips like it's a V8 supercar of the past. He is absolutely throwing everything at it. We saw Shane van Gisbergen doing that at Bathurst in the McLaren. Let's hope that Jim Manolis gets well out of the way here as Richard Muscat looks to the inside, as does Tony Quinn. Race leaders go through. Tony Quinn just getting his mirrors filled up with that Ferrari now. A bit of dirt getting sprayed out of the back there. He looks to the inside of Jim Manolis in the 458 as Jim manages to hold his line there. There's 2 458s and they're giving Tony absolute hurry on. Bowe gets through on the VIP Pet Foods Aston Martin Vantage. This is the drag race that John Bowe didn't want to have. They go side by side down the Sandown straight into turn 1. It is going to be the Aston Martin Vantage. Streams through Bowie, has it off at the bottom, as does Quinny. Cops Jim Manolis in the side and into the barriers they go.
That's quite a big hit. Jim should be all right there. He obviously can't see much with the bonnet folded up in front of him. Tony sideways into the fence. They just ran very deep under brakes in a braking duel, and we saw the...
Jim Manolis, he's got the door open.
That's good to see. Yes, John Bowe ran wide. Tony Quinn tried to get up the inside, got the car over the curb. It just spun him on the exit. There wasn't much he could do, and unfortunately for Jim Manolis, very blind going into turn 1. As he came through, of course, he had an Aston Martin broadside across in front of him, and very little that he could do about that. That'll be safety car, I should imagine.
You'd probably expect so, because Bowie went off. They've gone to the inside of the corner there where you don't often see cars stop, but if 1 or 2 can get in there, there's certainly an opportunity of another. We'd like to see double wave yellows, no safety car boards out at this stage, but they're certainly covering turn 1, which is the big passing manoeuvre there. Double wave yellows,
Tony's out of the car. Track. Smoking quite a bit, the Aston Martin down there at the moment. They may just be doing that as a precaution.
Richard Muscat, race leader, now has a good clear lead of 5.5 seconds on John Bowe. John Bowe managed to, he went off, and Tony Quinn and himself, they sort of helped each other through turn 1 there. John Bowe went wide, Tony Quinn went short into the corner and ended up with Jim Manolis assisting there. And Jim, we hope, is out of the car. And we're just watching now. There is the Victorian Fire and Rescue Squad, race safe down there. So there's both medical and recovery attention down there. So being covered by double wave yellows, which is good. We get to continue racing. It just negates that part of the track, and certainly the officials trackside will be watching to make sure that all of the cars do tend to get out of it, back off, and see the lap times just ease off a second or so over this time. But John Bowe is gone into maximum attack mode, Sean. Have a look at that. 5.8 seconds, now down to 5.4 to Richard Muscat. But you've got to suggest that with 6 minutes left in this race, Richard Muscat is looking pretty good in the Genesis Steel Wilson Security AMG to go 2 from 2.
It certainly looks like Erebus Motorsport have uncovered another young superstar. Of course, they put reigning at that stage Formula Ford Australian champion Jack LeBrock into the car for 2 rounds last year. Set lap records at both circuits and won every race he entered, and I think he was on top of all but about 1 practice session. And that was, we see Keith Kasulki spinning. That's on the run into out of turn 12. So hopefully he's all right. He can regather and start the BMW V8 powered Ascari KZR1 down there. He's still stopped. Young Jack LeBrock did a fantastic job last year, and they've now got Richard Muscat, who's clearly stamped himself as a star of the future after his efforts last year in the GT3 Cup Challenge. Unfortunately, Keith Kasuki cannot get that car restarted. The waving yellows are working at both ends of the circuit now.
Yeah, both ends of the straight now covered off by waved yellows. So this is starting to become a bit of a moot point. The Lamborghini, the Interloy Lamborghini, back out on track, and it's Stephen Richards at the wheel. He is sitting in 11th place, done 40 laps, so had a bit of time in the pits looking at the right-hand rear, of course, the loaded side here, and got last year's championship car, James Konduras at the wheel there, also chasing them down. Did you those Porsches look menacing when they put the black livery on them? They really do look very, very aggressive. 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in this second race of round one of the Australian GT Championship, presented by Pirelli and Trofeo Motorsport.
Keith Kasuki managed to get himself going, but again, probably not 100% sighted as to what was beside him. Very nearly drove James Winslow off the outside of the final turn as Winslow caught him around the outside. He's now taken Steve McLaughlin. He's currently shown as position number 2 in the GT Trophy class, but what's interesting is Ben Eggleston is still holding down position number 3. He's a good 5 seconds ahead of Clark Quinn, and he doesn't look at any stage like he's going to give up that position and allow the reigning champion to take some more points away in this particular race. But that's a good result for Ben Eggleston after the disappointment he had yesterday.
The Wilson Security Jenna Steele driver Richard Muscat has responded to the charge by multiple champion of various categories, John Bow, now that went out to... Bow has responded absolutely on lap 43, a 1:10.5, some 2 seconds he's grabbed out of that one lap to Richard Muscat. You've got to suggest that Damo and the boys at Erebus are back on the phone to Richard saying, you've got to respond again. The wily veteran in the Il Bella Rosso Racing 458 Italia, maranellomotorsport.com.au across the front splitter of that car. Lights ablaze for John Bow, and he is absolutely alive and well inside there. 458 Italia charging up the Sandown straight, of course, fresh from victory at the Bathurst 12 Hour. This crew are running on absolute confidence at the moment. Richard Muscat down the inside now, just about looked at Michael Hovey in the Associated Projects car, but the Jenna Steele driver says, right, I've only got 2 minutes and 51 seconds left to go. I'll get him at the next bend.
So positions as we stand at 2 minutes 45 to go. Richard Muscat leading John Bow. Ben Eggleston also leading the trophy class category. Clark Quinn, position number 4. James Winslow, second in the Equity 1 Audi R8 in trophy class and 5th outright. Steve McLaughlin, 6th. James Konduras, shown in position number 7 in the car, of course, that won the championship last year. He shares with Steve Owen. Rod Salmon, position number 8 and 4th in trophy class. Andrew McPherson, position number 9, trophy class. Dale Patterson, still doing a brilliant job in the Orange Mosler, position number 10. Stephen Richards, despite extra time in the pits as we see John Bow dive inside Rod Salmon down at turn 4. Stephen Richards shown in position number 11. Michael Hovey, position 12. Matt Kingsley in Brendan Cook's car leading the challenge class, position number 13. Keith Kasuki, despite the spin and the delays he's had, still holding down position number 14. He's going again now. And George Fossil, second in the challenge class, just ahead of Indiran Padiachi, positions 15, 16. Of course, a shout out to Tony Alford in the Pink Lotus, who's leading the GT4 Sports class, position number 17.
So Richard Muscat now comes around. You've got to suggest he's got at least another lap to go in this race. Last time around, 2.4 seconds to John Bow, but Bowie's been caught up in substantial traffic this last lap. Let's have a look at it as they stream across the line. 2.87 seconds, so Bowie has gone into a program of harm minimisation through then. That traffic was certainly played a part through turn 4 and 5 up the back straight. And here he is again, has to deal with the motor school car. He looks straight down the inside, and John Bow does not diverge his line for one bit. bang over those ripple strips. I wonder how long the Ferrari can take that punishment that this absolute legend of Australian motorsport is dealing out. Here we have it, 1 and 2 on the back straight. Lights ablaze on both cars here, and what an absolute champagne finish here to the second race of the 2014 GT Championship presented by Pirelli Trofeo Motorsport. Up the back straight goes the 458 Italia into Dandenong Road now. Richard Muscat now starting to use all of those ripple strips, and John Bowe, you give him the sniff of a race win, and he is out after it. 30 seconds left on the clock.
I think they're going to get another lap, so this won't be the final lap as Richard Muscat negotiates the final couple of corners. He's onto the front straight now. Still 17 seconds to go. No, we'll get one more lap. Stephen Richards yesterday, of course, got away after he got past Tony Quinn and opened up a 3.5 second gap. And as the laps wound down to the compulsory pit stop, John Bowe started to catch him. I asked him last night, did you have an issue or anything? He said, no. Have you seen that bloody Ferrari go over the curbs? He said he smashes it like he thinks he's still in a V8 supercar. And we looked at some of the onboard footage and the oohs and ahs that came out of the Interloy transporter as they've watched John Bowe doing exactly what we're seeing him do on screen now. Was quite incredible. Richo said, I'm trying to keep off the curbs, give them a wide berth so it doesn't unsettle the car. But Bowie's just straight lining, straight across the top of them.
He's been driving these Ferraris for long enough for Mark Coffey and the crew at Maranello Motorsport. They know how to put these Ferraris together, and you've got to suggest that if you want to go Ferrari racing, they're the ones that to talk to. But Richard Muscat now, you've got to celebrate this young man. 2 years ago, he was driving 944s in the Victorian State Circuit Racing Championship. John Morris saw the talent, and he said, come with me, young man, let's make a star out of you. And John Morris is just quietly in the background, helped him out through last year's Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge by Pirelli run. Now he's slotted him in with the Erebus team, and he takes another win. The Erebus crew celebrate that compact little GT crew that Erebus take GT racing with them as Richard wins that race by 2.5 seconds over John Bowe. Ben Eggleston waiting now for the blue Aston to come across the line. He's driven a fantastic race, led for 5 laps mid-race and did a great job, and in a GT trophy car, and just used every single advantage that he possibly had that the rules allowed for him to do. And what a great run to the flag there. We had a safety car. We're just watching now some of the other guys run. Stephen Richards now using this as a bit of a test session, charging in the Lamborghini. Let's have a look where Richo is doing 113s on lap 45. Our leaders 110 on the last lap, 110.6 to Richard Muscat, 110.4 to John Bowe. Testament to the Pirellis that all these guys are running on the DH compound. They are still good and still able to punch out fantastic lap times at the end of an hour's racing. There goes Richo across the line. Dale Patterson home as well in the Mosler. Great run for Dale. He comes home in position number 11 with Stephen Richards just grabbing him. And on the last lap there, Michael Hovey and Matt Kingsley. So across the podium for this race, Richard Muscat gets the race win. 2 from 2, just like Jack LeBrock did last year for Erebus in the AMG Mercedes. Wilson Security and Jenna Steele plastered down the side of the car there for Richard Muscat. The young man just got engaged to his lovely girlfriend, now fiancée, only a month or so ago. Big off-season for young Richard, and he has got a absolute legend of Australian motorsport, John Bowe, lining up behind him here. And Bowie would be just scratching his forehead at the moment going, wow, we've got our work cut out at Maranello Motorsport to catch this young kid this season. Full commitment to this season, this championship. John Morris, as I suggested, quietly behind the scenes, making sure that Richard Muscat gets every possible advantage he can in his racing career. A good bloke to have on your team, John Morris.